SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. A strong brand isn't just the CEO's responsibility. It belongs to employees, customers, and even competitors. Rod Curtis is a branding expert at Kommunal Brand Strategy Architects. He understands why businesses should involve their entire team in shaping the brand identity. And he starts by explaining to Jeff Waters why it's folly for a business owner to think that only they own their branding.
They would like to think that they do. And in some organisations, it is important to convince the managing director or the CEO that they are indeed the chief brand officer.
Well, what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, but the way in which you get to the point about the power of your brand is to involve others in its creation. So a brand isn't just owned by the CEO or the marketing team. It belongs to employees, it belongs to customers and even competitors who define its relevance. So the process that we undertake in our business at Communal is something that we call communication ready, which is that model where we take a wide cross-section of views across your entire system and then we bring that together into some workshops. Now, I know the world hates workshops. Certainly businesses everybody's eyes roll back when they see in their calendar invite, it's another damn workshop. The way in which we've conducted our workshops is to make sure that the people in the room are the people who are going to be involved in delivering that brand into the market.
So they have an interest in what's going on.
Well, the first thing that you should do is demonstrate to your people that you actually trust them.
And value their opinion.
Yes. Some of the most successful workshops that we've been involved in, as I can remember one, where one of the contributors turned up and they were in their high vis and work boots and footy shorts because they'd come straight from a site. Now, aside from the colourful language which came out of that participant's mouth, there were a lot of truths about really how that organisation was seen in the marketplace. So we don't just build the brand in the boardroom, we build them with the people who have to deliver it. I mean, we can run a great piece of advertising for you, but if the experience at the other end of that does not deliver what the promise is in that piece of advertising, you have wasted that entire budget. So that your people aren't just there to contribute to that workshop, they're there to own it. So we like to talk about the people who are in those workshops as ambassadors, not only for the process, because they'll go back to their workplace where people will obviously collectively do that rolling eyes thing again about, oh, you've just wasted a day in a workshop. They need to be able to say, no, it was an investment and this is what we did and this is why the outcome is important. Because we cover off things which they can only truly deliver, things like values.
Are you talking here solely about employees who are involved in this definition exercise?
In the workshop it is employees, but the information that you bring to the table is information about their competitors, it's about their consumers.
Customers, yes.
It's about everybody that's involved in their system in the world. And you're really saying, this is what we found out about you. Is this right? Do you agree with this? Or don't you agree with it? If you don't agree with it, why?
Could there be a reluctance on their part to be honest, though, because they fear retribution?
It's a good pickup, Jeff. They can be if the wrong people are in the room. And by the wrong people in the room, sometimes you don't want the CEO there.
Exactly.
Sometimes you don't want the chair there.
Mm.
And the reason for that is that that can be a blanket. And you do want the truth.
Which is why a third party like yourself would be helpful.
That's true. I mean, we're not there to judge. We're there to help them discover. Because, look, marketing is expensive. Even in this wonderful day of technology and digital and social media, if you're going to get it right, it's still going to cost you money. There's no such thing as a cheap way to do marketing. So if it's an expensive investment, and I think it is an investment, and you want to use it to attract customers and clients and investment and capital, you need to be able to have your people being convinced that your new strategy is not just for your customers or your clients, it's for your people as well.
So once this exercise has been undertaken, what sort of results do you see? How does this improve the situation for companies?
The first thing is that you find that there's a couple of celebrated cases we've done recently where there's been a renewed spirit. Most of the conclusions we get to, the answers were already there. It's just that they hadn't been able to crystallise them and explain them. I can recall, if any of our people are listening to this, they will recall me saying a couple of times that I can remember showing a bunch of people post-workshop of some work which came out of that workshop, and it was a piece of advertising. And they looked at it and they said, I now understand who we work for.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of people who join a company who I can bet my bottom dollar they can tell you what they do there, but they can't tell you really about the organisation or about the emotion of it or the passion or the branding of it. That's why great leaders are inside leading businesses which are really successful. You'll find their employees will climb over rocks and vast oceans to stay with those organisations because they believe. Now, I'm not going to borrow from Ted Lasso here, but it's for those people who are aficionados of that series will understand when I talk about belief. That's what one of the outcomes of the workshops and the communication ready process is belief. Belief that we actually do have something which is different about us, about our organisation, about our people. And that's the thing which is just as important in the B2B world as it is in the B2C world. I think that that's something I don't want to lose sight of, is that a lot of people in the business-to-business world believe that branding isn't for them. That brands are only those things that we see on the supermarket at Coles or Woolworths. But a brand is really, really critical, and branding is critical in the business-to-business world. Because my belief is that whether it's 90 or 80%, I don't know, but the majority of business decisions have an emotional driver attached to them. Because to make my decision to go with XYZ organisation is going to reflect on me personally inside my own company. How will I be seen if this works or doesn't work? Will I lose my job? That's an emotional conclusion. So to get the branding right, that helps people make that emotional hurdle decision before looking at the numbers.
That's Rod Curtis, Director, Strategy and Creative Lead at Kommunal Brand Strategy Architects. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel.